Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, I should say Mr. Chairman, Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I do have a written welcome address, but as many are familiar, that is for the record. This is usually my opportunity to say a thing or two that I hold very dear. The most important thing for me is gratitude. Gratitude to so many who have made the little things we have been able to do possible. I could not possibly begin to list those I owe so much to for the little bit that we have had our opportunity to contribute to. But I owe an enormous bunch of gratitudes to those who have made today possible. Many times we get credit for things we make very little contributions to. I have been called the architect of today. I did very little, by the way, to make today happen. And so many dedicated friends, the CVL team, have worked to make this conversation possible. And it's a very important subject matter, in my view, that we're about to have this conversation on this morning. And so I owe them a great debt of gratitude. I particularly want to thank Lagos State. I mean, I've repeated, at the risk of sounding like there's a peculiar point being made here, we owe Lagos State a debt of gratitude for example, good example. In my view, perhaps the best governed state in Nigeria in the last 18 years has set for us a sense for Nigeria without and beyond oil. And I think it's a dream that we should live and move forward. I'm particularly excited that the Rockefeller Foundation has found 100 resilient cities in the world, amongst them Lagos and the city of Enugu. And our hope is that Enugu will be at the hub of a new Lagos, so that we can see progress broadened in the country. And so I'm thankful for the privilege of being able to have that come to the fore. But let me turn to some small passions that are really pulling at me at this point in time. There is an obsession with talking about tertiary education in Nigeria. And yet, what is more important, because if you don't get that right, the quality of tertiary education will be not so right, because garbage goes in and only garbage can exit. And this is primary education. Primary education matters for many reasons, including the fact that some of the most learning, I am told by the experts, takes place during those early years. And so this commitment and this belief that we should walk our talk, not only say what is government doing, has led us down a track of something I've mentioned before. They were trying to start 2 primary schools, one in Ikorodu, one in a place called Ibuzo in Delta State. These primary schools will be for the poorest of the poor, free of charge, with a free meal, and will aim to give better than corona quality education to the children of the poorest of the poor. If we can add strong values curriculum, strong design and tech curriculum, and if we can add strong leadership curriculum. We believe that the problems of social mobility, and many of us seem to be oblivious of a growing danger of a society where we could have a permanent underclass. Social mobility, because of the quality of education, is not taking place as it should take place. Our hope is that that kind of effort will help begin to change this. I'm sure many of you are familiar with my work with AFED, the Association for Formidable Education Development, which is a group of private schools in slum areas who, by the way, account for more than 60% of the education taking place in a city like Lagos today. And that we work with those kinds of people to transform lives at that level is a very, very important thing. And I would like, and Professor Kohli and I were talking about this yesterday night, to pay tribute to a British academic called Tully, Professor James Tully, who has been trying to excite our focus on that. The day he walked into my office, I felt ashamed that it would take somebody from England to come and tell me about what is happening in my backyard. So that is a very important thing for us. And finally, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of young people amongst us. Usually we have 400 or 500 executives and senior people at these meetings, but it does not matter until we can get young people to begin to understand early what leadership means. That leadership is other-centered behavior, not about self. If you look in the mirror and all you see is you are not a leader. Leadership is sacrificial giving of oneself for the advance of the common good. And our hope is that as we bring these younger people to begin to learn what is important, they will get away from this phenomenon in our collapse of culture in which life is about finding money that you do not need, to buy things you do not want, to please neighbors you do not like, and focus on more elevating things that can truly make you immortal, people to remember you long after you've gone. So I think with those words, I'd like to close with a tribute to somebody who passed on just in the last 2 weeks, who grew up here in Lagos, but whose house is across from mine in Ibuzo. At 16, she became a child bride and moved to the UK. At age 22, she had 5 children already and left an abusive marriage and became a great writer, educated herself, educated her children. My tribute to Buchi Emecheta. Thank you.